Hi everyone, I'm Adrianna from Enterprise Legal and I'm the lead conveyancer here.
And my name is Georgia and I'm the conveyancing assistant here at Enterprise Legal.
So today we're going to have a little bit of a chat about stamp duty and when those transactions need to be assessed. So for those of you who don't know, stamp duty, or transfer duty as it's commonly known as well, is a tax that's levied on the value of a property acquired by a person by way of transaction or any other way.
The most common time that stamp duty is payable is when you're purchasing a home. When you enter into the contract, you must pay stamp duty on that transaction. There are some exemptions and concessions that you may be eligible for when purchasing the house. For example, you might be able to get home concession or first home concession.
That's right, Georgia. And so what we do in our conveyancing section is we go through those questions with our clients and ask those things to make sure that we are assessing your transaction correctly and applying those concessions or exemptions that may apply to you. The second time that is commonly known for when stamp duty is payable is when you're transferring part of your property to a spouse. So a common example is when there's a husband and wife and they own their home together, 50% share each. So what may happen for whatever reason, asset protection wise or restructuring wise advice from your accountant or solicitor is that the husband may transfer his 50% share of the property over to his wife and she has to pay the stamp duty on that 50% that she's obtaining from her husband.
Now, the majority of the time, this transaction doesn't have a consideration or a purchase price, and we do this based on way of gift. When this happens, we need to use the value of the property. To get this, we get an agent to do a valuation of the property compared to 3 other properties, and that is how we get the valuation that we use to get the stamp duty that's payable.
Now, one of the other times that stamp duty needs to be assessed with the Office of State Revenue is when you change the trustee of a trust that you own, and that trust holds property. So whilst it sounds a bit different to the normal transactions and like the ones we've just discussed, what happens is when you do a change of trustee, you usually get a deed of variation or a change of trustee deed done up. And then what you need to do is transfer that property into the new trustee's names with the Titles Office. So what happens is you need to do with the Titles Office your Form 1 transfer document, and those documents actually need to be physically the duty notation has to be put on those before you lodge with the Titles Office. So again, in this situation, most of the time there is no purchase price or consideration. Sometimes there is, but most of the time there's not. So it's a nil duty, and the reason why it's a nil duty is because there is actually an exemption for change of trustees with the Office of State Revenue. So when you do get that done, we do that transfer and there is a nil duty in that situation.
Overall, it is important to remember that stamp duty is a considerable amount of money to add on top of the purchase price. So keep this in mind when you're budgeting for your transaction. Also consider that there may be an exemption or a concession that you are eligible for.
And so if you have any other questions in relation to stamp duty, what concessions or exemptions may apply in your situation, or just any general questions in relation to it, please feel free to give myself or Georgia a call on the contact details below, and we'll look forward to speaking to you soon.